Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday? Yeah. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Great day. So many things to talk about. Okay, I haven't seen you guys in a minute, but Rich, are you good? You got everything? Are you guys taking off? So, first news is Annette is going to a job interview right now. We're so excited for her. She did this all on her own. She went and talked to somebody like at a store, and they said come back for an interview or something. So she's really excited. So we're just gonna take her. She wrote down the address and everything, where she needs to go. We don't really know what's going on. Like I'm gonna be amazing if they're gonna give her a job. We don't know, but the good thing is she's just been so happy. I'm a little worried that she might get a little bummed, but she used to do this all the time, where she would apply and she'd get jobs, and then she would either show up or not. And she used to work at GameWorks for a while. That one she went to a little bit, but I don't know. She's getting so much more functional now, where she probably could do a job, a very simple job. So if this one doesn't work out, we're gonna have her keep applying for jobs, because she just loves it. Like, she's so excited. So we thought she said she'd need to be there at 8, and we have a morning meeting at 8. But we asked her and we said, is your interview at 8, or are you going there to fill out an application at 8? And or does it open at 8? She said, it opens at 8. Application. We're like, oh, okay. We're like, so your interview is not at 8, right? They want you to go. So it's more like let's go there. We don't exactly know, but so she no, it opens at 8. And we said, you can go anytime today. She said, yeah. We're like, okay, just make sure, because we were gonna go to our 7 a.m. so that we could get her there at 8. I guess we had to leave a little early. But we confirmed with her, and so we're just going to take her now. So they're heading out right now. She got all dressed up. She did it all herself, like picking out what she wanted to wear, and we asked her if she needed anything for her interview, and she said no. So I'm really excited. She's just been through the moon. And I used to have little jobs. I mean, she wouldn't necessarily hold them for very long, but it doesn't really matter, It's just even her just going to try to get a job, she just has a blast with that. So very exciting news there for the family. I went to my morning meeting today. Oh my gosh. So today is day 20. I only have 10 more days of raising my hand in the meeting. And I'm not going to do that again, because I don't want to go through that again. Especially our 7 a.m. meeting. So what it is your first 30 days, you raise your hand. If your first 30 days of no drinking too. So, I mean, if you drank, you reset. So that's what happened. And that was 20 days ago. And it's been the worst 20 days of, like, not the best, but worst. Of, like, we're like, raise my hand again. So I'm going to be really happy to. And I think they do that at first I was like, gosh, why do they do that? But I think they do it on purpose, that you don't want to do it again. Like, I don't want to do it again. Because 30 days takes a long time in the meetings, where everyone's like, you again. Anyways, I ended up going to the meeting this morning. So I go every other day to a different meeting, because my sponsor is at the 8 a.m. meeting. So I see her every other day, but she has been sick for the last 5 days, like really sick, with, I guess there's a flu going around. So her husband was there today. So I talked to him. I always text her and stuff off her, but it was great. Like that meeting, because Richard was like, that meeting, they like love you there. That's like, that meeting is like more my meeting. The other meeting is kind of more his. But we both like both of them. And they're co-ed ones, so, but Richard has been going to a bunch of men's meetings. The only reason why I haven't gone to the women's meetings is he goes at night, and I'm too tired at night. So I'll go one of these days, but we're going to go to a noon meeting today. So, I like going to morning and noon and like 2:30ish, 3 p.m. meetings. I'm always tired at night, or I'm working at night, like today I'm working. But, so Richard loves going out at night. So he went last night, like he met with his sponsor, and then they went to a men's meeting, and like I was asleep, and I didn't even know he came home. Like, I had my headphones on and my shades on. I was like, I woke up, like, because it was a pretty long, because it's like at someone's house, so they all just hang out, the guys. And then the day before, Richard went to a men's meeting at a guy's house too. So he's like in the men's club for sure with the AA. They really like us. We feel like so fortunate to be so accepted. I mean, I know they kind of have to accept everyone. That's kind of like the thing, but they really are nice to us. And like everyone's like, oh, Cyrus, when we walk in. It's like very nice. So we're excited to go to our noon meeting today because it's our 7 a.m. meeting that we didn't go to that one today. We went to the 8 a.m. So we're like, this is what we're going to do on the days we go to the 8 a.m. We're going to go to the noon so we can catch up with the people that we see every other day. Because you really want to see everyone every day. Like, it's the same people, and then, new people come. But you see the same solid people that, some of those people, like my sponsor has 49 years of sobriety. 49 years. And so like, but she still goes to meetings every day, you know what I mean? So you see these people. And my sponsor has 27 years of sobriety. So I feel really blessed. I just today talked to her husband for the first time, such a nice man. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I made such a good choice. They are really good people. I was like, wow. Some people are just gentle people, just so nice, and you wonder how were you ever mean? And I'm sure they were crazy when they were alcoholics, but it's been so many years, they just have calmness and peace about them. And so I was just even more confirmed that I picked the right sponsor. I was getting a little bit worried this week because she's been sick, so I haven't been able to, I didn't want to bother her much. And I thought, maybe she's just too busy. But then I'm like, no, she's just been sick. You know what I mean? And I was giving her the space. But then I thought, because she has a lot of sponsees, they call it. But I go, I don't want to give up so soon. And then this morning when I talked to her husband, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking, because I really have a good sponsor. And we have so many similarities. Her first husband passed when she was in her 20s, which, my mom passed, which that's your husband, your mom, those are people that are very, very close to you, And then she was, her family was Air Force. I'm like, oh gosh, and I was she was in the Air Force, but her dad was, so she lived on Air Force bases her whole life. And I was like, and just little things like that, and I'm like, so I feel really, really fortunate. I've already done a couple of assignments. I was getting first, I've finished the assignments that she wanted me to do, because I've been waiting for her, and I don't want to get started. I kind of know what the next one is, but I'm like, I kind of want to wait because I don't want to rush it. I want to do it when she tells me to. But I feel like Cassie. But so I have some other books to read. We have so many AA books now. Oh gosh, we gotta all of them now. Rich even one of the men's meeting is on Dr. Bob. They're going through that book. So one of the guys gave Rich the book, and just it's really I don't know. It's just really great. We are really happy, and I've been really connecting with God again. Which people are like, how can you connect with God with your job or something? I'm sure God loves everyone. And he doesn't hate my job. He has no issue with my job. Society does, not God. No. So anyways, enough said about that. I lost my connection with God. I grew up insanely religious. So my parents were missionaries, and they went to Bible college, and they were youth pastors my whole life. So on top of those weren't jobs. I mean, they got paid from the church, but they don't get enough paid from the church, so it wasn't their sole job. They had to do other jobs too, but they were always still youth pastors along with their other jobs. One time my mom there was a church that could pay her enough that it could be her full job, but that was only for a couple of years. But all through my childhood, my parents were youth pastors, and so I went to church, and I went to a Christian school that you had church at school every Wednesday, and you had Bible class was one of your classes every day. But I went to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So I think Thursday was, so Monday was the junior high youth group. Wednesday was church at school. Thursday, sorry, I said it was Monday, Tuesday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday was the high school youth group, which my mom also did. So she did the junior high and the high school. So that was 2 days a week. And then Friday was Bible study. Saturday was a day off. Tuesday and Saturday were days off. And then Sunday was church, of course. Sunday church was all day because after church, well, my mom she did, what do you call it? For the kids. Sunday school. So my mom did Sunday school before church. There was one before church you could go, and then the one during church. And then after church, we went to the pastor's house. And I love the pastor's house. He liked usually like football, so you would get to watch football then. And so like Super Bowl Sunday was always at the pastor's house. But so speaking of Super Bowl, what a terrible game. That was a horrible game. I don't like either team. I'm by heart a Niners fan, but it's just been so many years that I've really kind of like watched Niners games. So I don't like, they're my team for life, but I don't really watch them anymore. So but the Seahawks were big rivals of the Niners, so we always hated the Seahawks, right? You know. And then the Patriots, they've just been annoying because they've won so many darn Super Bowls. But this year I was actually hoping it was going to be the Patriots because I wanted Jake Mahey. I hear them say different ways. I thought it was Jake Mahey, but some say Jake May. I thought it'd be cool because he was the youngest, but I was irritated if it was going to be the Patriots again, you know, because, man, they had Tom Brady won like a gazillion. But I thought that'd be cool because I guess he was the youngest quarterback ever in the Super Bowl, which was pretty obvious. Rich was like, yeah, we should take that into account because I bet on them. Not a lot, you know, he's been like $5. But we bet these tiny amounts of money, but with massive scenario. So we've had ones that on a $5 bet could win $2,000, or Richard did one the other day that was going to win $40,000, but it had like 20 scenarios. I was like, but guess what? We got like probably like 16 of them or something. You're like, oh, you're kidding. Because if you had just left off those other 4 or whatever, you know, but which you don't always know which 4 it's gonna, you know. But it's just like I got one the other day that it was like, man, Richard, because what he'll do is he'll list off all these teams and I just say which one I think it's gonna win. So like when it's like with the college football, when it's like a ton playing, you know. So there was one, I think it was like a 15 one, and I got like 13 or something. And you're just like, oh, gee, Louie. You know, you're like, so, and then I've got where we're like a point off on a parlay. Because we'll do where we say the player needs to get this many, you know, touchdowns, or we pick which player's going to get a touchdown, or with basketball, you know, how many baskets or points they get, or how many rebounds, or things like that. And you know, with football, you can do all kinds of different scenarios, rushing yards and receiving yards and all kinds of stuff. And when we do all some of those things, and sometimes it'll be like one off, like not like 1 point off. Like it was like we wanted the player to get 30 and he got 29. But then we had like 14 others, you know, 13 other scenarios that came through, and you're like, oh, are you kidding? And so you're watching the game, and I realize it's so fun, and it's only like $5, but or sometimes it's even $2 that we're like, but it can be so exciting because you're like, but then often you don't get in, you're like, are you kidding? But you only are out $2, but you had the potential to like, on when it was like going to win, I think the highest one ever was going to win like 80,000 on like it was a $10 bet, I think. I think he put 10, which was like, I gotta put $10 just in case, or something, 5 or 10, something like that. But it was something crazy. And it was off by like, you know, just a couple things, tiny things. Not like a whole thing, like a thing like a player didn't, you know, get enough points or something, or didn't get enough rebounds. One it was off by he needed one more rebound, and the whole thing was like, darn you, Towns! I still remember it was Towns on the Knicks. We need one more rebound from him. Left us hanging. So I'm always like, we're just like, you want to bet on Towns? I'm like, I don't know about that. You know, too, you'll be like, I don't know about that player if they one time, like, but it's just fun for us. So I won one the other day that was like $400, which was awesome. It's probably like a couple weeks ago, but whatever. The Mets are starting soon. I got to figure out what date it is they start, because I'm starting to see in my Twitter feed. So I still call it Twitter. I'm like, I call it X, whatever. I don't really look on there. I post once in a while, but when you first log in, it shows your feed, which I literally don't scroll through it. So the only things I ever see is if it's like right when I first pull up my app. I choose not to look outwardly anymore with stuff because I feel like it's just too much negativity. My mom always said garbage in, garbage out. So what I like to do is I like to post my stuff, which is, my art is me. I don't know. It's very self-absorbed. I know that. But I wasn't, really taught a lot of art, like, in the sense of, like, I never was taught to draw. I never took an art class. Same with music. I love music. I listen to it all day long, but I was never, ever taught any sort of instrument. A lot of it has to do with my parents being poor, luxury things. The only things that, like, the sports I got to be involved in were the ones at my school, but I went to a very small private school that didn't even have sports, so not until I was in 7th grade, and then they had flag football, and then I played that. And I was the only girl on the team. They weren't even going to let me, and they had little cheerleaders, and I got to be a cheerleader before. But we didn't have sports, so I wanted to do dance at some point, and my mom let me for about 2 years, but then a lot of scenarios happened with my stepdad messing up, but it was also the money thing. She just couldn't, because it was the monthly thing, and then every time you had to get a costume, which is a lot. So I was in a lot of classes. I was a really good dancer, like, just all of a sudden. I didn't know I was, like, they were like, wow, Joy's really good. We're going to put her in the advanced class, because the first year I started in the beginner class, and the second year I was in advanced classes. And then it was my last year, unfortunately. But then in high school I did cheerleading again. But that was free. You just had to pay for the very beginning, but it's free in the school. So those things are fine, but the Christian school didn't have stuff like that. So same with, they didn't have art classes and stuff like that. It's all those things. Anything that cost money was like, nope. But anyway, I grew up pretty poor. For people don't think that. Like, when they look at me, they think, oh, you must have been privileged or whatever. I wasn't pretty poor category. Like, we lived in the low income apartments that you had to, get on the waiting list for, and often just lived with other people. That were some really bad scenarios. There was like a stabbing that occurred at we were living in the basement, and someone got stabbed and killed upstairs, and then we ended up going into like put you in one of those homes with the police for a second, really crappy ones, but and then we live with people in the church and stuff. My mom always finding wonderful people. That's in sarcasm. Terrible people. The one lady wouldn't let me and my sister eat. My mom paid for all of the food, so we didn't pay rent, but my mom paid for the food. That's how she contributed. And we just stayed in the room as me, my mom, and sister just rented a bedroom. I didn't have his own bathroom. The bathroom you had to share everyone else. Because it was just a husband and wife and their son. Their son was a monster. Vinny, a monster. And the kid ate a lot. He was one of those obese children, and she wouldn't let me and my sister eat, but her son ate everything. It was the weirdest. We didn't understand. It was weird. She was sick, and my mom was at work, and so we weren't able to eat until my mom came home, like for dinner. So we'd be like, if we got home before her, oh god, we go and try to like steal a bag of chips or something. It felt like we were stealing a bag of chips. My mom was paying for the food, but we were not allowed to. It was weird. I don't know what her problem was. It was the weirdest thing. We were young at the time. I was like 7. My sister was 9. To this day, I don't know why. Because she fed her son. It wasn't like a thing. It was weird. But yeah, we live in a lot of weird spots. And then, so finally, when my mom's on these waiting lists, you get these wonderful apartments that is all these low-income ones, but we thought it was the greatest thing ever, but they're pretty bad. But my mom only had to pay $90 a month. This was back in like 1991 or 92. And that's how, like, they based it on how much she made a month. And what they came out is that she could afford $90 a month for rent for the apartment. For utilities, everything. $90. So, yeah. But that's why she didn't marry my stepdad, you wacko. Because I think she just didn't want to be poor anymore. But then she made like, that guy was useless. And my mom and I were working more. But, whatever. So it wasn't until like probably high school that my family started to do okay, you know, where they could maybe get a car that didn't break down every 5 seconds, you know. Our cars were the worst. My dad used to pay like $900 for a car. He'd be like, oh, fabulous. I got a car for $900. And then they'd have problems. Imagine that, right? He loved Subarus. We had so many Subarus. And bugs. We had a Baja bug. We had a yellow bug that was a Baja bug. We had a green bug. We had a blue bug. We had a Volkswagen van. Lots of station wagons. But anyways, so my first car was $2,000. My first like 3 cars were like $2,000 each. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. That's how much my parents said they would each give $1,000. That's what me and my siblings got, because my parents were divorced. So you got $1,000 from each parent to get your first car. It was that or braces. Hence why my teeth look this way. You get braces or a car. You're 16. Which one are you gonna choose? So me and my sister both went with the car. But my sister ended up getting braces when she was like 26. My dad's like, you can get braces now. I'm like, I'm not getting braces at 26. I'm good. That ship sailed. My sister did. They looked terrible for like 2 years. She had the rubber bands, everything. She like drooling everywhere. Because our mouths are really small. We have like the same setup with the teeth. Like, me, my dad, and sister. So my dad's a little bigger. He's a man. But like our teeth have the exact same issues. We're like where where the crooked ones are the same. All 3 of us. My mom's got like really straight, beautiful teeth. Like, how'd that happen? I took my dad's teeth. I have a friend that says he has one of his mom's ears and one of his dad's ears. My friend Nick from the Air Force has 2 different ears. And he says one looks like his mom's and one looks like his dad's. I'm like, that's so weird. That's so crazy. Anyways, what's going on? So, yeah, I did not watch that whole Super Bowl. I fell asleep. Not gonna lie. I've been watching a lot of sports. I can't wait for, I was saying about the Twitter. I keep getting the feed showing that the Mets are practicing on my feed. Like I don't even scroll through, it just keeps, so every time, so I know it's like happening soon because I saw it the other day a little bit, but it's like every time I go and it's like more Mets. I'm like, oh, there's Lindor, there's Soto. But, did you guys hear we lost, guess who we lost? Guess who we lost? Of course. Guess who we lost? Lonnie Bear. Alonzo. The polar bear. The jersey I have. But now I like it because at least it's kind of like a collector's edition now in the sense of like retired. It's a retired jersey. But man, he left us. I'm so disappointed because I love him. And he has only been with the Mets his whole career. And he bailed on us this year. I forgot where he even went. You guys would know. I don't remember where he went because I'm just like not even. But then also who I'm really upset about is Diaz. But Diaz went to the Dodgers. So I say, well, I do love the Dodgers too. So if he's going to go to a team, I'll take him. I love Diaz. He's our closer. I'm really worried now. I'm worried. We don't have Lonnie Bear, our first baseman, and our closer, Diaz. So I'm hoping the replacements are equally as good. I know one time Beatty played first base and did a really good job, I think. It was Beatty. He usually does second. He usually is third. Third, I think he usually does. So we'll see. Let's go Mets. Did you guys ever see my jacket that I got it thinking I was getting it for Rich, but it's like an extra large, and he's like, this is ridiculous. But I'm so thankful I bought it thinking it was for him because I never would have bought it because it was like $150, and I don't ever spend that kind of money. So I was in Manhattan. I'm in Manhattan, and I won't spend $150. Never, ever, ever. Not on something for myself. Probably rarely for someone else, but this one, I even Rich was like, come on, are you sure? I was like, no, you're gonna love it. I got it for you because it's the same jacket my grandpa used to wear, and you just got it. It's just so New York, and it was in a vintage shop, in a thrift shop, but the ones that are nicer, like the vintage ones. Yeah. And I brought it home, and it's like an extra large. Like, Joy, this I'm swimming this season, it's ridiculous. But if we do ever go to a game, he will wear it. But look, I'll show you guys. My grandpa had this exact jacket Look at this thing. Look at this monster. This jacket gives me so much happiness. Because as a child, I saw it all the time. Like, my grandpa was probably like one of the biggest Mets fans ever. I mean, if you think you're the biggest Mets fan, then he's equal to you, or more. And it just gave me so much happiness. And so I said, oh, I'm gonna get this, but it's an extra large. And sometimes Richard can wear extra large. A lot of times, like in t-shirts. But this one is like a marshmallow jacket. But if we do ever go to a game, I'm gonna have him wear this. So this was actually someone else's jacket too, where they actually put their name in it too. It's kind of interesting. So, I like that. I don't love it. I don't like new things. I like antique things. I like vintage things. I like things that have been loved and worn. All right, so that's I just hang up in the closet. Makes me happy. Richard got me this little blanket. It's not an official Mets one, but I don't know if you can see this. It's he like made a custom blanket that's got like all this stuff that's related to me, but it's like Mets colors and stuff, and it says New York, and I love it. But I'm getting excited. I did not know how big of a Mets fan I was going to become. Like, okay, my family were huge Mets fans, like me now, but probably even more so than me. Because that was like all my grandpa did. He was a bus driver in Manhattan for 30 years. And then when they moved to California, he became a bus driver in Los Angeles until he died. He died when he was 64 of a heart attack at a Chinese food buffet, which we said at least he always went out doing his favorite thing because he loved Chinese food buffet, which is terrible for you, all that, MSG or whatever they got there. Whew. But what was unfortunate is he had broke his back about 4 years prior, and he had about 6 back surgeries within like 4 years because they kept messing up. Like, his first doctor put a metal plate in his back that the screws or something fell out, like to hold the metal plate. Like these crazy things happened, so they had to go back in and fix that one. And then he had it kept getting worse and worse and worse. He was like total malpractice, lawsuit could have gone there. But so he ended up being in total pain for the last 4 years, and he had stopped working. And he was just kind of waiting for 65 till like his money would start coming in, and then he dies at 64. So everything was like held up, because he had things that some of them were his own, like CDs and IRAs or whatever those things are that you can take it out early, but you take a huge penalty. So like people wait till a certain date, and so all of that came into play after he died. But my grandma luckily was able to live off of my grandma never worked. My grandpa took care of her always. It's like she wasn't someone that had to be taken care of, like it was just how it was, where the men worked back then. She was just a stay-at-home mom. She never worked ever in her life. And she died in like 2014. But I didn't get to see my grandma before she died because she had disowned my mom when I was 10. Yeah, right after my grandma died, because she lived with us for a short time, and my stepdad stuff. But anyways, that jacket gives me so much, because like now I think because everyone died, like when I watch the games now, it's like it means so much to me. Like sometimes Rich doesn't even get it. Like when the Mets game is gone, like he can actually like get bored and like leave or like want to change the channel. I'll be like, oh no, because I don't rarely ever watch TV. I'm like, I don't care. Like I'll watch sports, but it takes the jaws of life to get me to watch TV. But if I start watching a show, if it's something I like, you can get me hooked on it, and then I'll binge watch it, where I like watch all of the episodes in one night. I won't go to sleep. I'm like, oh gosh. But then, darn it, I finished the show in like 2 days. But and then I'm like, I don't want to watch another. But sports, I will watch. Most sports, definitely soccer, basketball, football. I don't like things like golf. No. Yeah. I don't even like the Olympics that much. I like figure skating for Winter Olympics, and I like gymnastics for Summer Olympics. That's it for sports to watch. But they're not that interesting. Like, would you put on figure skating this morning? I said, you don't have to put that on for me, because I put on figure. I said, I don't really find that interesting. Some other countries, it's beautiful, but it's pretty boring. When I was a kid, I was mesmerized by it. But if there's a Mets game on, the one time he turned the channel, and I just looked at him, and he's like, "Do you want to watch the game?" And I was like, "Are you asking me that question?" Of course I want to watch the game. I thought it was maybe boring. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't want to be rude, but of course I want to watch the game. And he was like, okay. And I was like, oh my God, there's a Mets game on. Why would you change the channel? I just don't, to me, that's like, it could be the most boring Mets game ever. It's still like, the Mets are on. Please put the game on if we can watch it. I mean, sometimes we can't because it's locked, blocked. And then I'll try to still get it. We'll jumping through hoops to try to get it, because they pay these extra things to watch the game. And this just happened in the last year, but my family, so it's not like I jumped on this new bandwagon. It was like I just finally got on the bandwagon. My family were huge Mets fans, and I never really got into baseball. I loved football my whole life, and basketball. But my sister played basketball, and I played flag football. And soccer. I love soccer. My brothers played soccer. And Richard played soccer. Richard was a goalie. I love soccer. We used to watch a lot of soccer when we first got to Vegas. Definitely like when the World Cup was... Whenever the World Cup is going, we watch that. And then I used to be into that, watching even the women's soccer, which I don't like that much. But I really liked... What was her name? Alex had her jersey, and I can't think of her name. There is a female, she's on our USA women's team. Her name is Alex something, and I had her jersey, her Nike jersey, and I can't even remember her last name right now. But I loved that jersey, and it was not cheap. And I remember wanting it so bad, just like I wanted my Alonso jersey, which Rich actually got me that. I didn't know he was getting it. But I was like so excited. But I can't even think of her last name. But you guys may have probably seen it. But this jersey was like $100, and we went, and I wanted it so bad. And it's weird when I know, like, to some people like $100, whatever. For me to spend $100 is a big deal. It's the weirdest thing because like I've had where we've had money, but I don't know. I really evaluate before I spend $100. Richard's a lot quicker. He's better about like kind of like knowing, what's important and what's not. Like he's really good with managing. So I have a hard time of being like, is this okay to get now? Like, should this be used for a bill? Where, and he'll be like, no, just get that now. So he's very good with that. And then there'll be times where we're like, no, we don't have any extra. But I'll always be like, oh, I just shouldn't spend. I'm kind of a tight one, which is not, I mean, I know it's hard if you don't have money, which often we don't, but it's not a way to live to never like get something you want. But so every once in a while, Richard just kind of like pushed me to get something. And that was one of those, like, just get the jersey. And I got it. And no, you know what? I remember it was more than 100. It was like 120. And that's what was getting me more. I said, maybe if it was 99, I remember that it was 120, I think it was. And I remember I got it. And there's been so many purchases that were $100 that, not so many, but I mean, there's been a couple that it took me so much to decide to get it, and then I was really happy about it. Like, I loved that jersey. I don't have it anymore, fortunately, but I wore it for years. I have photos of it and stuff. I figure if I have photos of things, it don't matter because we have got and lost so many things. It's just even at the time me and Richard had been together, but definitely his whole life. And I always try to get on him because he gets really where he's living and like wanting the things from the past, but it is hard, because I am someone who likes to save things, and I don't like getting new things. I really hold on to my things. I really treasure my things. I keep them very nice and tidy. I don't know if you can see my room over here. It's extremely tidy. This is my little closet. It's my little space. I have another chair over here. Oh, I have to show you guys. I have a story. Okay. So many things. My head's going a lot because I haven't talked to you guys in a minute, and I'm so happy. So many things. Hold on. But, you have to let things go because you have to focus on what you have now. Otherwise, you're always going to be like, oh, I wish I still had what I had. I wish I had, and not focus because you have what you need. Okay, you definitely have what you need. It sucks to think sometimes you're like, no, I don't have what I need. You do have what you need, There are things that you want, and tomorrow you might need something else, and you'll get that. But today, you have what you need, you know what I mean? And as we all do, if you're sitting here watching me, you have what you need. If you don't, then you're, getting it right now. You're making sure you get what you need. If you're starving, you're getting your food. If you're, whatever it is, if you don't have shelter, But since you're watching me, you have what you need for today. And this, as a Jedi, we like to say, if you have what you need for today, you're set, and don't plan for tomorrow. And that's also an AA thing. Just today. You have 24 hours today. Think about today. Don't worry about tomorrow. I heard today that fear is... I might have to get my thing, but I'm going to try to remember what she said. I wrote it down, so I don't want to... But I want to try to remember the exact words, but I think I can't remember the exact words, so I wrote it down. I've been taking notes at AA every day. Take notes here. Because I knew I was going to forget. You think, I won't forget what they say in the meetings. You hear all these wonderful gems. People say a lot of cliches, which at first you think is so annoying. I'm not saying like me, but like I remember that was why I didn't want to go back to AA. This time around, I didn't feel any annoyance in the meetings. I haven't felt any annoyance. But why I didn't want to go back to AA is I thought, they're cliches, this and that. But once you're in the meeting and it's working for you, you're like all about the cliches. So this one is, fear is just, okay. When you have fear, it's future events already ruined. Let's see, F-E-A-R, fear. Future events already ruined. So what that means is, if you're living in fear, you're worrying about tomorrow, which is already ruining your tomorrow and ruining today. Don't worry about tomorrow. But like, if you're worrying about tomorrow, like, tomorrow's not going to be as good if you worried about it all day today. Like, I know, like, there's certain things that I will get really up in my head where I will be so worried. Like, this is going to go so bad. This is going to be the worst day. I'm going to have to do this thing. Like, things that I know I have to do. That's why I don't like to plan it. Like, I'm a very organized person, but I don't like planning because planning gives me anxiety because I go, oh gosh, I got this thing coming up. I'm not experiencing that as much anymore ever since I've been going to A and connecting with God, which I'll explain to you guys. But, I will get all this anxiety in my head and then think this thing is going to be horrific. Oh, it's going to be the worst thing. It's never nearly as bad as I thought, and usually much, much better, if not enjoyable. But something that I was so worried about, like let's say it's, you got to go pick up poop tomorrow or something. Oh gosh, it's something like really seems awful. Or clean your toilet tomorrow. It's always the one I'm put off, but I've been cleaning a lot lately, and the house is gonna get so much better. It already is like so much better, and I'm just like honest. But like each day, I've just been like anything that I notice, like I start like doing more and more than I was, because I was doing the bare minimum, and we were like just kind of getting by. Like, and the house is still pretty messy, but like, so pretty soon it's going to be clean. Like it's happening. It doesn't. I don't one day clean the whole house. If I lived alone, I would. But with this house, it's little pieces each day, where each day I move a little further in the cleaning. Like, let's say I have a box here, and I've cleaned in this box. The next day I clean a little more out of the box, and a little more out of the box. You know what I mean? But I'm not doing the entire thing. Does that make sense? Because that actually, like when we first moved here, was so daunting. I didn't know this house could be saved. I thought it would have to be torn down. It was that bad when we first got here. I thought it was going to have to be condemned. And I thought the whole thing was, and then little by little, I started cleaning. I was like, oh, it can be very salvageable. I mean, the carpet and the walls are very gross. We had to finish painting all the walls and eventually get all new carpet. But we've already replaced the dishwasher. Our next one is to do the stove and microwave again, which is, we did those initially for Gloria, but that was back in 2014 now. When we first got married, we bought her those. I was looking at the photos. We got them from Best Buy for her back in 2014, and so we want to replace. They still work, but not that good. The stove's still working pretty good, but the microwave is really good and bad. But little things like that, but all those things, and I already replaced the since we got here, we've done the laundry, the washer. I can't think of the word, and the dishwasher now. So we're getting each appliance done, because they were really bad here, all the ones. And when we first got here, the washer was completely broke. So we did all of the beds like 2 days ago. We ripped off everything, sprayed them, because we still deal with the bed bug thing a little bit. We've gotten it so minimized though now, because we do the Damascus earth daily, but every once in a while we got to do like a massive spray just to get them, but we can't do it when Casper's here. So we have to take Casper somewhere. So what we do is we get Casper's nails trimmed, and then we just, spray everything. And when we do it, he does also some nuts and Gloria's. But then what happens with that is it's about a couple days of me getting all of the blankets and everything back then, because it's a process where I got to put, one in at a time, because everyone's got their comforters. Everyone's got like 2 comforters. And then all the sheets and stuff, and then the pillowcases. And then the dryer doesn't dry our blankets. They just flop around. They don't even dry. So I have to hang them out over things. But outside is just tacky and it doesn't work good anyways. So I found that putting them over the Porsche worked, because we had a Porsche cover and like a cover on the car, and then it was outside. So it wasn't on the car directly. It's on top of the cover. But the Porsche is now in the shop. We're having it evaluated for the lawsuit. And so I have nothing. So I'm like trying to like dry all these. So I figured out I put them on a ladder, and then I put like some boxes and like in the garage, like almost like a teepee fort. And that's how I had to dry each thing. But when there's so many, so just this morning, so we did this like a couple days ago, just this morning, I finally finished like the last blanket dried, and I put it back on Annette's bed. She has 2. So what I do, I switch them. And now actually I have one more drying actually, but that one is the extra one that goes in the closet. So it's like, whenever we do that, it's like, it's such a process, because everybody has, well, there's 2 king-size beds and a queen-size bed. So it's big blankets, But, and the dryer doesn't work at all for that. It's like, it's pointless. It literally flops it around and just like doesn't dry it. But anyways, yeah, I got out of depression the other day. If you guys can see how excited I am. Like it just, so what happened is I've been really struggling with prayer. Because I didn't like the idea of it anymore. After my mom died, I was really turned off from God, because my mom was so religious that I was like, when it obviously didn't work for her, right? And I was very mad at God in a sense. And I didn't want nothing to do with prayer. I didn't believe in prayer anymore. I didn't trust prayer. And Richard, even when we first started going to AA, we first started going December 28th was the first day we went back. It took me till about February 5th to start praying. I didn't want to. Richard was praying every morning, and I didn't even like it that he was. It kind of irritated me, because he'd be like, just be quiet, I'm going to pray. And, he gets down, kneel at the bed and pray. And I was uncomfortable while he was doing it. It made me very uncomfortable, the idea of him even praying. And so I got my sponsor on February 5th. This is why I know this date. And she said, the first thing I'd like you to do is just pray in the morning, asking God to help you stay sober for the day. And then at the evening, if you stayed sober, pray to God, thanking him that you stayed sober. And do that every day, in the morning and evening. And now what I do is I thank him for the day before in the mornings, and ask him for that day. And so it's like, it's a double. But I said I can do that. So I did that. And then Richard had gotten me this, I don't know if you guys can see, there's this little plaque. It's the 3rd step prayer for AA. And my sponsor also gave me a bookmark that has the 3rd step prayer and the 7th step prayer. And so the 5th was the day I first started praying what she told me to pray. And then I think it was the next day or day after, I started to do the 3rd step prayer. I was like, I'm going to, and so I started kneeling in my closet here. I had this, my little space, and my 3rd step prayer is right here, and I didn't know it by heart. So I was reading it, but now I know it by heart. And the day I learned it by heart, and like really like prayed for real, not like, because I'll do like, you're just sitting there and kind of in your head, God, please help me do this or whatever. I prayed like these prayers, and it didn't have to be these ones, but I'm saying I prayed like prayers, and not just like, give me. Because maybe I've done that throughout the years, like, God help me, something like that, but, that's not, you don't want to, talk to him unless you're in dire need. So right after that day that I learned the third step prayer, because I took the effort to learn it and I know it now by heart, then I felt better. Like, it's hard to describe, because like people like hate to hear this, especially if you're not experiencing like, that phony baloney, God stuff. But it was like miraculous. Like that day I like snapped out of like this depression I've been in for like a really long time, probably since my mom died, like 20-year depression. And I feel amazing. I'm not tired anymore. I mean, at night I still go to sleep because that's just me. At nighttime I get tired. But in the mornings I'm up at like 3-4 a.m. I can't get back to sleep. Like I'm getting up, Rich, and I just start doing all kinds of stuff of like productive things, cleaning, saying my prayers, reading my book, anything that's like super productive stuff. All before the meeting, and then I go to either a 7 a.m. meeting or an 8 a.m. meeting. And today we're gonna go to what time is it? Oh, we gotta go really soon. So hopefully Rich hopefully he gets back in time. If him and Annette don't get back in time, then obviously we can't go, because her job interview is a priority over the meeting for this, because we already went to one meeting. But other than that, if they come back, we're going to that meeting, because it's our people that we normally see for the 7 a.m. We really like them. And Richard sees those same people too. Like he connected with a lot of them last night, but I like those guys too. It's mainly men at the 7 a.m. meeting. There are women, but they're much older. Most of the women, like much older, like grandmas, but like older grandmas, like Gloria's age almost. Probably most of them like in their 70s. Gloria's like in her 80s. I don't think most of them are in their 80s. Probably some of them might be in their 80s. But so I needed women a little bit closer to my age for like, especially like my sponsor is probably in her 50s, and that's perfect. I don't know her exact age, but she's not as old as the other ladies, but she's older than me. But I needed like a mom figure, and she really is that, and she's great. She has 4 sons, so she's a good mom. And she got sober back in the day for her children, and so. Let me see. Yeah, I really hope we can go to that meeting, but if that's fine. We'll go tomorrow to that one. But tomorrow we also go to our 7 a.m. But what we were hoping is to go today, because it's the same people for the most part. It's at the same place for the 7 a.m. and the noon. I mean, there'll be some other people, but it's a lot of the same faces. So we wanted to go today because we didn't see them today. Today we went to a different meeting. But the cool thing is crazy. It's all kind of the same community, because our other meeting where my sponsor is, the 2 guys that ran the meeting today are guys from our other meeting. So there are people at both. And we almost didn't go to that one today because my sponsor was sick. And I said, maybe we'll just go to our 7 a.m. meeting since my sponsor's sick anyways, because I like going there to see her. And I said, but then when I woke up and Rich was like, no, I like going to the 8 a.m. too. And I said, yeah, and I'm really glad we went, because actually they really like us, and we are like important to the group now. Like they look forward to us being, because we're like the newcomers. We're not the only newcomers, but we come with a lot of positivity. Like me and Rich are both very positive, and people were like, "Oh, I love seeing you guys." Like I keep being told, they're like, "Oh my gosh, your smile is so great," and stuff, which is crazy because I wasn't smiling very much recently. And I was saying, like, ever since I, said my prayers, started praying every day, and like committing to this and committing to my sobriety. Like, I've been so happy. I've been, like, ecstatically happy. Like, bouncing off the ceiling, I'm like, oh, wow, it's been a long time since I felt like this. I have felt depressed for a really, really, really long time. And that's why I was so grumpy, because when people were happy, it made me angry, because I couldn't be happy, and I didn't know how to be happy, so it made me angry that they were happy. Like, I thought about it today. I was like, I really have not been happy. And so they were talking about fears today. So I read that about future events already ruined. If you fear, you're ruining future events already, because don't worry about tomorrow. You'll worry about tomorrow. And you shouldn't worry anyways. God takes care of it, but I'm saying you'll take care of it tomorrow. But I had not felt joy, and that's my name. And for years, people were like, you're pretty grumpy for not being your name. And when I was younger, people were always saying I was a perfect name. Now at the meetings, they're like, your name is so fitting. And it's kind of like cool, because I feel like I've come back to myself. And it kind of sucks when you're depressed and your name's Joy. Because people don't give you a lot of slack. Like, your name's Joy, you're not very joyful. My mom died like 20 years ago, I know, but I haven't let it go. It's like people are getting tired of that one. And I'm like, sorry, I don't know. I can't snap out of it. And it was because I wasn't connecting with God. And so now that I'm connecting with God, which my mom was so connected with God, duh. And that's what I was shutting out. Why I was shutting out God is I was shutting out my mom, because it was hard. Even the other day, I finally, like, I can hear my mom if I want to. I chose not to. I can hear her, like, clear as day, talk to me all the time. Believe me, she doesn't stop. But in my head, and I'm not crazy, if you lost a loved one that close to you, you'll hear it too. You might shut it out. You don't want to, because it's hard. So I couldn't for years really listen to her, because I would lose it. Like, I would just bawl. Like, if I heard her voice in my head, I would, like, bawl uncontrollably. Like, I couldn't function. And so I tuned it out. And that's, I think, why I wanted to drink, because I really was able to tune it out. I just didn't hear anything. And now that I connected back with God, it's like, it's just all day with my mom. And it makes me really happy, because I miss her. I mean, people think, my mom was my best friend. My mom was all I ever had. You know, like, that's all I had, you know. It was me, my mom, and sister, but my sister always did her own thing. So it was always me and my mom. Like, that was my only family. I mean, that's all I ever knew was my mom. I only saw my dad, like, on holidays and summers. So, and I was close to my dad when I saw him, but when I didn't see him, you know, we talked once in a while on the phone. But, my mom was also my best friend. Like, I didn't have a lot of friends because I didn't need any. Like, I always had my mom. I mean, I had some friends. It wasn't, like, that much of a loner, but I was kind of a loner because I had my mom. So, like, I didn't care about going to people's houses or doing things after school, because I just hang out with my mom. Like, I came home and me and my mom, I mean, we just hung out 24/7. She either worked at the school I went to or was trying to get at the school I worked and was close enough. Like, I went to, because, like, when I went to the Christian school, she worked there my whole life. And then that was kindergarten through 8th grade. You know, something, either being a janitor or a teacher's aide or both, or always janitor, but some of the teacher's aide, always extended daycare. You know, so, but then when I went to the high school, I went to a public high school. She was trying to get to that high school, so she started with they put her first at the, she was a teacher assistant for the special ed, you know, where they send someone with the special ed. She would be that person that goes to class with the special ed person. So they first sent her to it's called Independence High School, and it was for what my mom would call the derelicts. It was when you got kicked out of the regular high schools. So she first had to start there, and then, you know, she had to wait to get to advanced. So my school was the brand new school. So my freshman year, she didn't work there. But by sophomore year, she was working at the school. So sophomore and junior year, my mom worked at the high school, so she would wait for me after my classes and stuff. Which, if she'd done my freshman year, I would have died. But by sophomore year, I realized, yeah, popularity, that ship sailed. Like, I realized after freshman year, like, I wasn't going to be a popular kid. I mean, I was a cheerleader, and people kind of knew me. Usually they didn't even know me. They're like, what's your name again? No, you're a cheerleader. I don't know you. I know the other girls. You know, I was kind of shy. But they only knew I was a cheerleader when you had to wear your uniform, which was, like, sometimes, like, 2 days a week. I'm like, how do you still not know me when I wear this, like, 2 days a week? He's like, you're a cheerleader. Yes, and I wore this 2 days ago, remember? No. Really? What was your name again? That was how it was, like, most of my classes. Unless, you know, it was a class that, you know, they told who got the highest grade, then everyone knew. Because I was, like, the studious student. You know, if I messed up the curve, I would ace finals. I was one of those kids that was obsessed with getting straight A's and getting 100%. If there was extra credit, oh yeah. If you get over 100%, oh yeah, that was me. I always. If it was extra credit, I was like, oh, well, now you just made where I have to do it. It wasn't an option once they said there was extra credit. It was like, you mean I can get more than 100%? Sign me up. So I did, yeah. So I did mine. I went home. I did my homework. My mom would say, I never liked when my mom helped me with my homework. She was not good at things. It was so sad. She just was not very good at things. Like, not very many things, and it was, I don't know why. I think she just didn't have the patience for things. it was just like she just slapped together projects, and I would take hours. Or like if she had a poster board project, my teacher kept all my projects and things, and my science journal was perfect, written perfectly, and like with the graphic paper, it's like one letter in each square with how I would write. It was insane. She kept all those things. And she uses them still. I heard from the kids younger, oh yeah, she's still using your project stuff. But anyways, so by sophomore year, my mom, so she waits for me after school, not just after school, after each class, with a little backpack. She has a little backpack. But so, and she came to every dance thing. She sat there during practice. She didn't leave, and then she came to every recital, and then every cheerleading thing and every track meet. I did the mile, the 2 mile, and the 800. My mom would clap for the entire 2 miles. Joy! Yes, okay! Joy! Oh yeah! Like, it was embarrassing. Your mom's a big cheerleader for you. She cheered for me for cheerleading. She didn't cheer. I said, Mom, do you watch a football game? Oh, no, I don't come here to watch a football game. I come here to watch you cheerlead. I don't watch any of the football game. I watch your cheerleaders. So, Joy does okay now. This is Joy. Oh, Joy. Hi, Mom. So she was a fan, but so. Oh, she came to everything in the Air Force, too. Oh, yeah, my dad didn't come to nothing. My dad said, I didn't know you wanted me to come to your basic training graduation. I said, well, every other parent did. Mom did. No, but I didn't know you wanted me to. I don't know why I wouldn't want you to. I mean, maybe now that we don't talk, but when I was a kid, he thought he'd need to be asked. Dad, will you come to my high school graduation? Thank you for asking me. I wasn't sure you wanted me to come. No, you're just lazy and don't want to come. An alcoholic. But anyways, my dad's an alcoholic. Imagine that. So was his dad. So am I. But my dad never went to AA. Neither did my grandpa. My grandpa actually just stopped, but they had to, he was one of those alcoholics that drank every day after work with his buddies, and he drove for Rainbow Truck. So my grandma said, I'm done. After witnesses for I'm done. No more of this, because he was a fall down drunk every day, pass out the bars. So she said, you can retire at 45 if you promise you'll never drink again, and I will take care of you. You will never have to work again. But we're moving to Washington, because they lived in Sacramento, California. We're moving to Washington. Well, Sugar, Washington. We're buying 5 acres. You can do whatever you want, because my grandpa likes to build. He builds. He hasn't stopped doing things. He's the only one still alive. My grandma died. But he lives off of whatever. She was a nurse till the day she died. Graveyard nurse. She didn't like him. They got married when she was 15. It was legal then. And my great-grandma was 14. Crazy, right? Her mom was 14 and she was 15. And she took care of my grandpa. He's never cooked or cleaned or answered the phone until she died. And the only thing he's done is answer the phone, which he still reluctantly does. And if you call him, he's like, "Oh, why'd you call?" But the cleaning and cooking, he still doesn't do. My aunts do it for him, his daughters. They come over every day and do all his cooking and cleaning. He will not. He says that's ladies' work. My grandpa's a total chauvinist. But then he let his wife do all the work. But do all the work. It was awesome. He's like, women should cook, clean, and do all of the providing for the bills. So it's not weird. I come from a family where women always worked. So I didn't ever come from it. I was not told to stay at home. My mom did all the stay-at-home stuff, but also worked too. So it was just funny that my grandpa expected that. There was like no question. Like he's proud of it too. He's like, "Oh, I've never cooked or cleaned, and I never will. Till the day I die." I'm like, "Yes, Grandpa, you will die an asshole. That is so true." Glad you're proud of that. But anyways, yeah, so I really, really went into a deep depression. And, I've had bouts of happiness, especially there's times that me and Rich have had, some pretty insane happiness, but there was always bouts of sadness even throughout any year. Like, he always knew every November, forget about it, I was down for the count, because that's, the month my mom died, but it started pretty much in August, which would be her birthday. So it goes August, well, it goes, actually June is when my brother died, but that one doesn't hit me as much as usually it starts my mom's birthday, because it was my stepbrother. His death doesn't hit me as much as towards the end of the year. It goes my mom's birthday's in August, and it goes my brother's birthday's in September. That's it. His birthday hits me more than his death day, and then it goes my mom's date is November, and then it goes Thanksgiving, Christmas, because they both love Thanksgiving, Christmas, both my brother and my mom. So it was my stepbrother, but I've known him since I was 4. And my dad and stepmom got together when I was 6, but we knew them from the church. Sean and Justin, and so he's my brother, even though it's not blood. But when he died, people didn't give me any respect as that if he meant anything to me, because everyone was arguing over who he meant the most to. So that one's a hard one for me, because there was so much terrible things that occurred after his death with the family. They turned me off so much that it was hard to even mourn him, because it was just like, you guys have made his death disgusting. That's what really turned me off from my family, like people arguing over who's going to get his guitars, and and he's going to have his every last possession, and who he loved more, and who he knew more, and who was closer to him, and who's more hurt, because I was just like, what is wrong with you people? I mean, he's only 26 years old when he died, so it's like, you don't expect people to start arguing over their possessions like how they do with old people, but that's disgusting too. When my aunt was putting her name tags on the stuff from my grandma, like, that's disgusting. Get out of here with that stuff. I don't have anything from anyone that died, and it's not that I wanted it that way. I used to have a couple of things, but throughout the years, those have now been lost. But I definitely, those things were given to me by other people. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't say, oh, go give me this thing that I want from my mom's. I mean, I wanted my mom and my brother. They were gone. I didn't want their possessions. But it is sad to not have it. I used to have my mom's photo albums. I'm very sad I don't have those anymore. But luckily, Richard scanned a lot of the photos. If I didn't have that, they weren't all scanned, but a lot of them. If I didn't have the scanned photos, I would be devastated. It was really cool he did that, because we had those photo albums for a time, but they were in our storage unit. And there's a lot of stories about that. But anyways, it was good to finally snap out of depression. Like 20 years was enough. But you know what's crazy too? Is when my mom first died, I thought I was going to be one of those people that was going to do fine. Like, I was like, I'm going to not let this ruin my existence. I'm going to snap back. I'm going to go right back to work, is what I did at first. And I said, my mom dies this tragic death when I'm 20 years old, and I'm just not going to, I'm going to go about my life. I'm going to be sad, but I'm going to not let So I was in denial for first couple years, and then, but yeah, it hit me like a brick bus, brick wall, and I probably handled it the worst. Definitely the worst in my family, but everyone kind of knew I was going to be the one most affected. Like, when my mom died, they said, oh, it's not going to be good for Joy. Like, my sister wasn't even really a factor, because she's always done her own thing. My sister's always been so independent. From the time she was a little kid, we never knew where she was. Like, we knew she was safe, because she was always at her friend's house. But it was like, what friend's house is she at? Because she had all these neighbor friends. She would always be at someone's house. Very young, where it'd be, getting dark, and like, we got to go find Sarah. We wouldn't know which house she was at. We'd always know she was, because she would say, I'm going to, whoever. She probably had told my mom which friend, but my mom would forget which one, whether it was Becky or, I forget all the friends. It was Becky, and I forget her other friend. Becky was one of them. I don't remember the other girls' names. But she had Nicole and Amanda, I think it was. And a couple other ones. And so we never knew which house she was going to be at. But what would drive my dad nuts was we had certain days we would see my dad. So when my parents first got divorced, my dad still lived in the same town. So we would see him twice a week and then every other weekend. So we would see him on Tuesdays and Thursdays and then every other weekend because my mom had the sole custody and then he just had, they didn't split it. He wanted to split it because he wanted to pay child support, a little cheapskate. My mom's like, no, I can't live like that. She had no money. So he agreed to lower. He was supposed to pay, I think, $1,000 for 2 kids. He only paid like $500 for 2 kids. The court ordered $1,000, but my mom was nice enough to $500. Anyways, which made it really tough at my mom's. We had no money, and then they had more money at my dad's. He's such a dick. But anyways, so we go to his house Tuesday, Thursday, and every other weekend till I was 10. Then he moved to Southern California, and then I didn't see him except for on holidays and summers. I would go to LA over the summer. But what was the point of this? I don't know the point of this story. Oh, my sister would always be at a friend's house when my dad was supposed to pick us up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And he was always late. Always late. Never on time. And I would say, Dad, can you be on time? He says, or we would get on. No, that's not how we say it. We say, Dad, you're always late. You're always late. You're always late. And he's like, well, you're always late to pick us up. He's like, no, I'm not always late. I'm going to say, Dad, you're always late to everything. He's like, no, I'm never late to things that are important. That's what he would say. As a little kid, you're like, thanks. I mean, no, I'm never late to things that are important. Like, well, you're always late to pick it up. Well, yeah, yeah. So he was always late, like hours late sometimes, So if my sister would give up, she'd go to her friend's house. I don't know where she'd go. Not my responsibility. So by the time my dad would get there, where's your sister? I'm like, I don't know. At a friend. Oh my gosh! Now we gotta go all over the neighborhood. We're late. We gotta go, because we'd be always going from my dad lived in Camino. We lived in Placerville, so he'd pick us up on the way down the hill while they were going to Sacramento, because they worked in Sacramento and everything was in Sacramento. Everything was in Sacramento. Church was in Sacramento. They insisted on going to church in Sacramento. They had them in Placerville. They wanted to go to one in Sacramento. That was the other thing. We had to go to church in Sacramento. Early service, 8 a.m. in Sacramento, which it was an hour drive. So we had to get up super early to my mom being at 8 a.m. in Sacramento. Anyway, church was in Sacramento. They worked in Sacramento. And all their friends were in Sacramento. Everything was in Sacramento. So we went to Sacramento for everything. So we were always going to Sacramento. But it was a good hour and a half from my dad's house. So he would stop at our place, to my mom's, to pick us up to then go to wherever they're doing in Sacramento. So now they gotta go find my sister, and this was every time. Well, she's like, well, you don't be late, and I'll be there when you get there. And he was, because now he's even later, and we gotta go find her. And there was no cell phones, no. We didn't have pagers. People didn't even always have home phones. If we had a home phone, but we didn't have call waiting. So people, if you tried to call, they could be on a phone. A lot of people didn't have call waiting. So you couldn't always just call ahead even to, I don't even think they had the numbers of other people. So, it's just the neighbors kind of, around but some of them were further. So my dad and sister always were at it. And so my sister just stayed away. But I was always home waiting for my dad. I never left. Oh no, well, my dad's coming, I'm gonna be yelled at. And then, I'll be here. Also, if I wasn't there, then he'd be really infuriated if he came and then both of us were gone. Oh, he was fuming mad. But this is just like my family, where they are like, Richard's like, why don't you like the movie Groundhog Day? I'm like, because that was like my life. Like, it's the same thing every time with my family. It's so predictable. It's like, oh, right before a trip, we're going to have a big fight because now everyone's in the car at the right time, and Dad wants everyone in the car at the right time, or everyone's 5 minutes late. It's like every time. Every time. Then my dad's going to throw off we're going to cancel the whole trip now. Whatever it is. Oh, forget it. Everyone on the car. Forget it. Always. Every time. It's like the most predictable thing. Like, why do you get mad when it happens every time? You know it's going to happen. Everyone's not in the car at the right time. So I have grown up with this constant, needing to, rush around and make sure I'm on time, and, really anxiety, because there was so much anxiety in my house, which was unnecessary, because we got to the same place at the same time every single time. It was the same Groundhog Day story, but all it was just everyone doing the exact same thing, and my dad yelling at everybody, about doing the same darn thing every single time. One of my brothers was autistic, so that one you're not going to get much of a change of him. So every single time it was like, I said, well, Sean's going to get in the car at the time he's going to get in the car, and that's the time that Sean chooses. You know what I mean? And you can't get him. I mean, like he will dig his feet in and his arms in, hold on to chairs if you try to like manhandle him to like do something too. And he's strong. He ripped out. So, right, they put him on these meds that were not good one time because he has severe autism, and he also has what they used to call mental retardation is what they used to call it, but now I don't know what they call it. But he has where his IQ is only 60, and then he has one other syndrome that causes where he can't talk. He's not mute. He just sounds like someone learning to talk, or even they really, really struggle, but it never gets better. So, like, some words he can say, like, yes, no, very, like, one-syllable words he can say. Stop, he can say, go, things that for safety. No, but he, like, joy is koye. He's always said koye for joy. That's cute. But, yeah, his autism is he chooses to do things at a certain time. And so you better find out what time Sean's going to do the thing. Otherwise, there's no point. Like, we're all going to say it. So one time they put him on these meds because he was getting very aggressive during his teen years. Because he'd always been pain in the neck, but like not really aggressive. Just kind of like he would yell and scream and break things, but not break things like serious things, break like toys, But as he got older, he started getting aggressive, like where he would hurt people. And so they tried to put him on these meds, but then the meds only made it worse. And he was on this one that made him like, oh my gosh, like he was on steroids almost. He wasn't on steroids, but it was that kind of rage. So he was at a McDonald's and he got mad and he ripped the table out of the floor. That it was one of those that was bolted to the floor. And he ripped the paper towel thing off the wall. We got kicked out of McDonald's. We're like, oh my God. We had to put him in the hospital. They had to give him sedatives if he was enraged. And he charged a bull towards a cop. I think the cops came and they had to tase him. It was terrible. He got tased. He charged a bull towards this, it was a female cop, and she tased him. But then they got him off those meds. But he's really mellow now. But he's in a facility where it's like a home. It's not like a hospital. It's like a home that just has a couple of people. It's not. He used to be at ones where it'd be a person could sign up to be a caretaker, and then they might take on. But this is more where there are nurses there. And they can lock him down if they need to. But it's not like a hospital. But it's kind of sad because he can't be alone. And we thought, Annette was going to be more like him, early on she kind of was, but she's getting more and more independent because she is not as severe as my brother. I mean, they have different things, but I'm saying just in the care she needs. We still, make sure we cook all of her food and stuff, but she's getting really independent. And it's amazing. I'm really proud of her. And she went and got this job interview thing. I don't even know what it's about. She said it was at the gas station, and she said they want to hire her. First she said she got the job, and she got the job, and she got an interview. It took a second for us to kind of figure out exactly what it was, but I think it's more, they told her to come back to apply, but I think they were interested in maybe hiring her. So some of these places have, where she could do certain tasks. I don't know. We'll see. It would be really great. But we're going to keep looking into a little job for her because has been through the moon. And this was just I think yesterday or the day before. Maybe it was 2 days ago. But she gave me the little note that they had wrote down, a note for her that said to come back today. That it said 8 a.m. No, it didn't say 8 a.m. She told us 8 a.m. It said the address and the unit number for her to go. I think this is where she needed to go fill out an application. So Richard took her. And she was saying 8 a.m., but then later we got it. Sometimes you have to ask Annette a lot of questions to fully understand, because she only will tell you like a little, like she comes, oh, I got a job, and you're like, oh, wait, oh, no, I got a job interview. Like, oh, okay, so what, like you have to figure out from like, what do we need to do? Where are you going? What is exactly? And so if you ask her, she'll tell you, but you have to ask her. You have to be like, oh, wait, okay, so is this an interview? Yeah, but wait, do you need to fill out an application? Yeah, I need to fill out an application. So they say fill out the application, then the interview? Yeah, application, then, so you have to like kind of do it like that, and then you figure, and then you get to the whole thing, because it's just more like kind of figuring out the pieces. So I think they told her to come back to fill out an application, and then hopefully she gets the interview, or maybe this is the interview with the application. I don't know, she kept saying interview. So maybe they said application and interview both the same. I mean, I know some jobs, depending on the level of the task, it could be something that's simple in the sense of like, okay, you can do this, So I don't know. We'll see. But she has been so independent lately. We're like, once we got her ID, she unfortunately has to go take the test to be able to get a driver's license, which she used to have a driver's license. She has to redo all that, which of course she needs to. It's been a long time since she's driven. Okay, no, hold on. No. Casper was gonna run out the door. He gets curious when I'm not giving him enough attention. He starts to be like, well, I'm gonna go figure out what's going on out there then. Out the door. He goes out the door now. He's running down the hallway. Makes me mad. Because it's not unsafe in the sense of like immediately, like there used to be mouse traps. It's nothing like that, but it's also not bunny proofed out there, so it's not fully safe. Does that make sense? There's cords around there. There's things. But it's not like totally unsafe. Where like if he just ran out there, where he would like just initially. But if he stayed out there anytime, he'd start getting into things out there. Where in the room we've made it pretty bunny safe. Casper's doing really good. He's not happy with us. Because we have changed his diet. Casper's my bunny. He's going to be 2 pretty soon, you guys, in April. In April, he turns 2. But we just got his nails clipped. We've been doing that regularly, and it's a great time that we then do a full bug spray of the house, because you can't do it when he's here. The Damascus Earth you can, luckily, but not the spray. You got to let that air out a bit. But he hates being picked up. He hates it. He despises it. And he runs from us when we have to pick him up now. When he was small, he used to let me pick him up. Now he wants nothing to do with it. So usually we have a little more time before we're heading to get his nails done. So we'll kind of like make sure he doesn't know that something's up and get him out, and then like have him eating, and then Richard will just grab him when he's not expecting it. But this time we had got crunched for time because we had gotten back from meeting, we were doing all this stuff, and then I was like, oh wait, we gotta get to Casper's because we had an appointment with him. And then I needed Richard to help me catch him to get him in. We put him in still in the laundry basket. So we've taken him every time to the vet in the same laundry basket. It actually has his name on it still from when he got neutered. They said people come in laundry baskets all the time. It's just with this big boy. It works great actually because it's tall. He can't jump out of it. He likes it too because I take the lid off and then I pet him. This time I drove without Richard, so I couldn't pet him. But if Richard's driving, I'll pet him the whole time. But Richard he kept running from us under the bed, and then he knew he was going somewhere, and then he wanted nothing to do with it, and so he was not coming to us. And we were trying to get him out with like a treat, and he wasn't having it. He was like, I know your guys' tricks. So we were like, I'm like, Casper, we're gonna be late. Come on, get out of there. And he was like, And so he gets right in the center of the bed, and it's a king size. So we got me and Rich on both corners, and we're kind of but we can't he gets so deep in there, and so we're like, you little turd. And so but then he said, fine. He knew that he needed to come. So he started coming close to us, but he was like, kept getting where we couldn't get close enough to where we could grab him. And then finally he goes to run in his tunnel. And so we grabbed the tunnel by both sides because we have this huge tunnel. We're like, we got you, buddy. And he was so stinking mad at us for like 2 days, because that was like 2 days ago. Because he does not like being picked up or going in the car. And so he pouts, and he just pouts, and he just goes on the bed, and he wants nothing to do with us. I mean, he'll eat his food, and he just runs on the bed and doesn't want us to touch him and nothing. He does this every time we have to take him. That's why he has to get his nails done, and we have to spray the room once in a while. But The room I'd probably put off longer and longer because he just hates it so much, but his nails have to get done. But he's such a little drama queen because he loves that bed. It's all females there too, which Casper's a little ladies' man. I don't know, he's really flirty with girls. I mean, he's a male buddy. But and I know they're so nice to him there. And I know it feels better when he comes home because when his nails get too long, they say they start to curl under, and then that makes it very hard for him to walk. Like it's like when you get like ingrown toenails, you know how much those hurt. Oh, I don't know if you ever had one of those. My poor stepbrother Sean, the one that's autistic, he used to get the worst ingrown toenails. He has had about 3 or 4 toe surgeries, like to try to like remove these ingrown toenails, and then he like keeps getting them, and he hates them where he screams like bloody murder, and he goes, "Don't hurt, don't hurt, don't hurt, don't hurt, don't hurt," and he like screams at the top of his lungs. So he can say some things, like he can say toe hurt. That's one he knows, you know. And then he says, he can say dentist a little bit. He goes, dentist, dentist. And he can't really be, he kind of can say dentist because he used to have tooth pain. He's learned a couple of things that he can kind of like, but I forget the thing for dentist. Oh, dentist. It goes like the dentist, I think, in sign language because he does sign language. He knows sign language, and the family, we don't. I took a year of it in college, and I took year when I was younger, but my stepmom was a real pain in the neck. She doesn't really want me to connect with her son, even though we always have. I've known him since I was 4, and he's my brother, and me and him like are the closest in age. He's actually a year older than me, so I'm the youngest in my family, and our ages go where it went 4, 5, 6, 7. Like it went, that's crescential, but it went. I was 4, he was 5, my sister was 6, and so her 2 are in between me with the ages. So he was my older brother, and even though he was special, I was young. You know, I knew he was special, but like I didn't treat him any different. You know, like me and him just piled on. So he loves me because me and him were buddies always. And I watched him when I was older, when I still lived in Washington. They wouldn't let me be the caretaker because I'd had a DUI, which sucked. Like legally, I couldn't be his caretaker. I was going to be, but so my aunt became his caretaker during the time, and then she would have me come be when she needed a break. And then she, like I could have, if I didn't have a DUI, I can get paid to watch my brother. Isn't that weird? By the state, like, because he's, you know, special needs, where like even like babysit him, they would have paid me. But since I had a DUI, I couldn't. So she was always like, "Sorry, I can't pay you." And I'm like, "It's my brother." But she's like, "Yeah, but if you didn't have a DUI, like you literally, I could have paid you." Like, because she gets paid. And don't worry about it, you know. Just keep it, because she's given like money for the babysitter, but they have to be caretakers. But they wanted me to do it just because he likes me the most. So don't worry about it. You know? Like I had other jobs, but it could have been like my full-time job. But I just did it just because I love my brother. So I would go see him twice a week, and then 3 times a week actually. But I'd go Tuesday, Thursday, and then Sunday I would take him to church. So I have been going to church since my mom died, but it wasn't for me. It was for my brother. So I went for several years, but I didn't really pay attention. And I started going to church even after I was drunk, basically. Not like that from that morning, but from the night before. You know, because I would go out drinking all night with my friends and then know that I have to take my brother to church in the morning, but still be like drunk. You know, basically almost. I mean, like barely sobered up and be like, church is kind of weird when you're wasted. But that I stopped going to, obviously, when I got with Rich, because I haven't seen my brother since I've been with Richard. Unfortunately, I didn't intend to keep my family away from Richard. What happened is we moved to Panama, and I didn't tell them because I knew that they were not going to like that. And so after that, I didn't speak to them for a really long time. I spoke to them in Panama, but they were mad about it, and then great guys and fine. And then I didn't really speak to them again for about 10 years. And so Richard has never met my family, but it wasn't intentional. Like, it wasn't like I didn't want him to meet my family. It was just because we moved. Like, and then I got disconnected with them, and then I didn't feel like reconnecting with them. And then the times I've tried to reconnect, it just has gone south. But it's weird, because if we had stayed in Portland, he would have met them. Because they were living in Washington. We were in the same area when we got together. But we didn't know we were going to be together forever. So, like, we had just started dating, and, so I just didn't have him meet my family yet. But if we had stayed a little longer, he would have. So it's just weird that he never met my family. in all these years. We talk about it. I mean, I think with my sobriety now, there could be a time. But the last time we tried to meet, I was still, I wasn't drinking, but I had been recently drinking, and I wasn't feeling good. It was just recently. It was just a couple of years ago, and it was since we got back from Manhattan, I just wasn't in a good state of mind. I was really struggling. I wasn't looking good because of, I had was struggling with my eating disorder then, and I just really didn't want to see them at that time in my life when I hadn't seen them in so many years. And Richard wasn't in his best form. It was just, but we were all committed to do it. And then my stepmom said something snarky to me because they were in town. They were not here for us. They were here for shit. My stepmom's friend had something going on in Vegas. And at the last second, I was supposed to meet them that day, and I was just like, she said something to me, and then I just went off on her, and then that was the end of that. So maybe in the future, because I would like to see my dad before he dies, because my dad is, 67, I think, something like that. I don't even know. 64? Maybe 64. 65. He's 65. Oh my God, my dad's 65. He's retirement age. I had to think about it because I didn't know how old my dad was because I haven't been there for a birthday in a long time. But last I knew, my dad was still in his 50s. Crazy. That's weird. Okay, if anyone's, not crazy for you guys, but if you've been disconnected from someone for a long time, and when you think about like their age now, and you like, because you still know them as when you knew them. You know what I mean? Like, my dad will forever be the age when I last saw him in my mind. I've seen photos of him, and since, he's gotten much older, but he still looks kind of the same to me. Like, my dad doesn't age that much. If anything, but it's too thin for him. And I think he was riding his bike so much. He was, like, so thin because he was riding his bike to work and back every day, and he's in his 60s. It's just so much exercise that he was like really skinny. Like the last photo I saw, but I think he now doesn't ride his bike, so he's probably because I don't think it was intentional. It was just from being really, really active. Let me see. But yeah, so this whole AA thing. I'm not trying to preach about AA, but my gosh, if you are struggling, and you have to be ready for it, because Richard a couple months ago mentioned it to me, and I was like, no, thank you. He even said, well, if you can't stop on your own, you might have to, I want to stop my own. I was just when I was still saying that. And I wanted nothing to do with AA. Like, the thought of it was just like, but now I'm like all about it. And oh my gosh, I think we're missing what time is it? Can't go to the noon. But I'm glad whatever's going on with Annette, obviously something is going on, because they didn't come right home. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh yeah, there was nothing, and here's your piece of paper, fill this out, come back. So there must be something that they're doing, because they've been gone a long time, and it wasn't that far from the house. It was a place she could walk to, so so it'd be like 5-minute drive. So this is good news that it's taking so long. And a little bummer missing that meeting, because I want to go to that one, because those of you we didn't see today, but that's fine. It was going to be the first time we were going to go to that specific noon one. So it's not like, oh, we don't get to the one we get to go, we're missing the one we always get to go to. This was going to be the first time trying the noon one. But we go to it's at the same place, pretty much the same people from the 7 a.m. Some of these people go like all day. I did that when I first went. So when I first went to AA when I was 22, I went all day. I mean, I had nothing going on because all my friends were drinkers, and I'd gotten a DUI, and so I would go to treatment at the hospital. It was Kaiser. Fortunately, I was in real estate at the time. That I was working for the real estate company. I wasn't an agent, so I wasn't an independent contractor. Like, I was being paid from Keller Williams. So I was one of the market center administration. So I had health insurance through Kaiser, which was so fortunate because I had to go to treatment. I would have had to pay out of pocket. All I had to pay was my copay, which was only like $5. But that even added up because I was 22. You don't have a lot of money. Because it was $5 each time. Well, I had to go 4 days a week. So that right there, you got $20 a week just in your copays. And then I had to pay $10 when I saw my, no, $5. Sorry, just so $5. When I saw my, something was $10. I don't remember what that was. I can't remember. When I would see my counselor, I had to see her. So I'd go for treatment 4 days a week, and I had to see, I think I saw her once a week or once every other week. I can't remember, at the Kaiser. And then on top of that, I went to AA meetings. So I would go to a 2-hour treatment for alcohol, and then go to like 5 hours of meetings for the rest of the night. like meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. But it kept me sober for like 3 years back then. 3.5 years back then. Why I stopped going to meetings actually was because I met a guy in AA that he really preyed on me. I was only 22, he was 45. And I didn't really want to date him. It kind of just happened where he just kind of kept worming his way in. Literally. But first it happened where like I was living with these 2 lesbians at the time that were my friends. And but it was annoying because it was this tiny little house and it was really far from my work. And I was renting a room and they had a Great Dane, this huge Great Dane. It was this tiny little house. And then the washer and dryer went out. And I was like, oh. So he had this nicer place that had a washer and dryer. And he first said, just come over and do your laundry here. And that's kind of how we first started hanging out. And then before that, he's like, why don't you just move in here? And you can live here for free. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty good. You have your own room and stuff. And then before I know it was like, he wants me to date him. And so it was a very short time frame that we were dating. But I was too naive and kind of caved in. But I never liked him. That was me. Like, never. Like, I wasn't even attracted to him. Like, ever. But it was a very short time we dated. But he was so intense that I felt very pressured that I almost had to. It was weird. But anyways, but then I felt like I couldn't leave. Like, he was an intense guy. He was a bodybuilder that, like, took steroids. So he's like, stops, doing drugs or alcohol for whatever he was in AA for. Because I think he had done drugs. I had never done any drug at this time, only alcohol. People were like, didn't understand, but I was in the military, so alcohol is allowed, but drugs are not. So, like, we drank. And I grew up Christian where drugs and alcohol weren't allowed. But then when I'm in the military, it was like, oh, alcohol I'm going to do. But even still, my mom never approved of alcohol. So drugs weren't just really around me. It wasn't like something I'm like turning down, where people, I don't know, it wasn't even something I sought out or ever was encountered until after the military. But even then, I guess I didn't really hang out with druggies, I don't know, like it just wasn't, so people were just like, it just wasn't, I liked alcohol, and I also, had a food thing, so that was kind of enough for me with the food and alcohol. That was kind of enough to kind of satisfy me. I wasn't seeking for something more. But this guy was trying to help me with my eating disorder at the time, so I was appreciating that part of it too, of living there, having the accountability of someone, because he was, about fitness, like we were going to the gym and stuff. But he started driving truck, and then he was gone, like for like a week or two at a time, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is so wonderful, because then I just got the house to myself. And at the time, I was great free rent, and everything works, the washer, dry, and everything. And but then when he would come home, I'd go, oh. And he thought I was like happy, and I had to, fake I was happy. But it was only maybe like a couple months, but I was just getting so tired of this. I was like, I don't like this guy, and he's so annoying. And so my sister ended up moving, and she was like, we're getting you out of there. And I was like, I don't know, he's kind of scary. Like, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to tell him I'm leaving. And she's like, we're getting out. And I had actually already kind of looked into getting another apartment somewhere else, because I didn't move with my sister. She was living with my parents. She had moved and lived with my parents before she got her own place. And I'm living with all you guys. But, so I get an apartment, but I don't tell him. And then I'm like, I need help, like, me, myself, my sister. I gotcha. She came with her U-Haul truck because she had just moved to up to Washington from California. And she's like, we're going to do it. Like, he's not home right now. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm coming right now. She comes to me, like, load up as fast as we can. I didn't have that much stuff because, I just kind of moved in with a little bit of stuff. But we load up in a U-Haul. And then it's like, the U-Haul's like in the driveway and we're pointing out. And it's like this long day. It was like a dirt driveway and stuff, gravel driveway. And he had a Jeep, like this big souped up Jeep. And, with big old tires and stuff, you were like, whoa, so like go over other cars, and we had this big U-Haul truck, So my sister, he sees me and he comes up and he'd never like been violent, but he scared me. He scared me, and that he would be, and so my sister's like, get in the car. She's like, get in the truck, because he's coming. What are you doing? I'm moving out. And she's like, get in the truck. She's like, yeah. And we have everything already piled, and she closes the back, and then she gets in, and she's like, and he's like got his Jeep like in front of her truck, and he's like not wanting to move, and she's like revving up the truck. She's like, you better get out of the way. And he finally like backed up, because we had it was like that, Mexican standoff or whatever, and he moved the Jeep and he backed out. He backed out of the driveway so we could drive out of the driveway, and that was. So I stopped going to AA meetings because he started looking for me at all the meetings. Like, this guy was weird, like soccer weird, and I was like, all right. And there was not a meeting I could go to, because he knew like every meeting, and he was one of those like had a lot of sobriety to be acting the way he was acting. It was insane. I think he had like 15 or 20 years of sobriety, and he was clearly never got his mind better. But it was one of my worst, actually not one of, it was my worst relationship, one of my only really bad ones like that, where I felt I couldn't get out of it. And I'm still forever thankful for my sister for that moment. It was because me and my sister, we love each other and we always will, but we've always kind of had our differences. From the time I was young, like my sister didn't like God when I liked God. Then when I decided I didn't like God, she liked God. Like it was always been like, like when I liked alcohol, she didn't like alcohol. When she liked alcohol, I didn't like it. So we've always been like, when my sister was doing drugs, I was the uptight church girl. And then I never really got that into drugs. It wasn't really, I don't know. Alcohol was my thing. Like that was. Once I found alcohol, it was the holy grail to me. I didn't need anything else. So today I was thinking about it. So the subject was fear. And I was going to share today, which I always share if there's enough of a pause. So our one meeting, our 7 a.m. meeting, you don't get the option to choose. It goes around the room. And you can choose to pass. But if it comes to you, you share. If it doesn't come to you, you don't share. And it never gets all the way around the room. It's that big of a room. It never gets. We're going to the big meetings. Richard said his meetings last night had like 75 men. Our morning meeting has quite a bit of people where not everyone can share in an hour. There's no way not everyone can speak. And they have timers and everything. They limit you to 4 minutes. And they set the timer off because people will talk too long because they're trying to let everyone be able to share. But the other meeting, the 8 a.m., you choose to. But what happens is, someone shares, and then there's a moment of quiet, and then someone starts talking or not. But sometimes there's a couple moments. So if there's about 3 moments, I'll share. But I'll always wait because I don't want to step on someone else. So sometimes if you go too quick, then someone else tries to, because you just start talking. You don't raise your hand or anything, just start talking. So I don't want to step on other people's toes. So I usually try to hesitate about 3 to 4 seconds, and then I go, okay, no one's talking. And then I'll say, hi, I'm Joy, I'm an alcoholic, and then I'll share. Today, that didn't happen. There wasn't like a second pause in between and someone else would start sharing. And I was like, okay, good, let them share. And then I was happening again. Okay, and so even to the last, like, it came down to the last minute, and they said, okay, we have 1 minute left, someone wants to share. And I was like, well, my share was going to be longer than a minute. So I said, someone else going to last share. So I didn't share today, but what I was thinking about sharing today was, a lot of things, but one thing I wanted to share, so I thought I'd share it with you guys, is the topic was fear today, and self-reliance, and you got to rely on God, not on yourself. But fear is not relying on God; it's relying on yourself. Oh, we're still gonna be able to make it? Okay. You guys, we're gonna still make it. Okay, gotta go. Bye. I'm so excited. I didn't think we were going to make it.
Yeah, just put your pants on.
I know, put my pants on. I know. Luckily, that's all I have to put on. Because
the microphone.
yeah, take over because I think I already have the rest of my clothes from earlier.
Yep. Yep. Okay, guys.
Oh, I'm so excited. I thought we were gonna miss it.
No, we're not gonna miss it. We're gonna leave right now. We're heading to a meeting, guys. So we got to get going. Let me just let's say hi to Annette real quick because she's super excited about her interview we just got back from.
Oh yeah, I want to hear all about that.
Yeah, we'll tell you all about it when we get back too.
I want to hear all about it in the car.
Hi, Annette.
Hi.
So they all want to know how the interview went.
Really good. They're really happy with me. Yeah, they're going to call me on Friday.
Call you on Friday?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. Great news.
Okay.
I got you a muffin from Whole Foods.
Oh, great.
Are those better? Do they taste
Yeah,
better? Yeah,
great.
those are good ones, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it. Okay. Hey, thank you, Mr. Steal Your Beef. Yo, Petrie. Yeah, so she's pretty excited about that. Okay, we gotta go. We gotta head out the door, guys.
I just gotta pee. Let me grab my first stuff.
I just wanted to come say hi, make sure everybody's doing good. What's up, Petru Sage? Mama tried. Must have a day early. No, she went to Chevron actually. They got the timer so people don't talk too long, like you. They love it when she shares. She's like a super popular. It's like she found her groove. Like she shares there, and they want her to talk more. It's funny.
Yeah, they're like everyone goes.
I know who it is. I thought you were trying to be incognito. Okay. Wait. Let's say hi to Casper. Are you ready to go?
Let me just pee.
Okay. Here's Casper. He's doing good. We love you, Joy.
I love y'all. I'm so excited to go to the meeting. I didn't think we were gonna make it.
Yeah, we're gonna make it right now. Yeah, she's doing great. Yeah, she loves it. She's like when I go to meetings and she's not there, it's like basically I'm not even there. It's like, where's Joy? Where's Joy? Okay, guys, I'm gonna cut out. We will see you guys maybe a little later. I'll post some shorts as well. All right, y'all.
Okay, let's go.